Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives by changing their habits and also using cutting-edge products that help them to age really well. And I'm absolutely delighted because today I'm joined by an intuitive sales coach, and her name is Jana Niksa. Hi, Jana.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So I'm just going to hand straight over to you for you to do your essential habits to maximize your success in sales.
Okay, great. Well, I have 5 here, so I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. And the first one that I really want to hone in on is listening. And I know everybody's probably like, oh, yeah, of course, listening. But how many, I would ask, are really just waiting to talk? So if you can get really good at the skill of deep, active listening, not just to what they're saying, but what's going on underneath, and start to tap in to that emotion, you're going to have a much, much more connected sales conversation. So that's one, which really leads us into number 2, and that is empathy. Okay. So almost anybody ever wants is to be seen and heard and understood. And I think a lot of salespeople out there have given sales a really bad rap because it's always been about them. It's their agenda, it's their number, it's their quota, it's cha-ching, and you kind of feel used, for lack of a better word, right? I'm sure you and your audience have experienced this. And so when you can come, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or even a one-to-many, and really understand where they're coming from and empathize, not just sympathize, but really get and walk around in their shoes. So much that maybe, you're repeating back some of the things that they're saying, but in a way that they feel like you've taken it in and that you're hearing them. A little sidebar on empathy, especially career salespeople, which is what I did for 2 decades. They teach us objection handling. Handle those objections. If somebody gives you an objection, you've got your response. And so back to this whole empathy, when they do have an objection, no matter what it is, sit with it, hold space for them. If they're being honest with you, especially about an objection, it's not just some sort of smoke screen, like really hear that, feel that, and understand where they're coming from, because that is what creates the space to have a real conversation. The ones that just sort of dismiss and handle is what they call it. We're handling this objection. It's just insincere. And they know that you're just responding with your canned response and you really didn't even hear what they had to say. So practicing that empathy is so crucial. So these are all, as you can see, very intertwined. Another one is we think we need to sell them on the knowledge. Here's all I know. I'm going to teach you everything I know. This is how you do it. This is the background behind it. These are all my certifications. But people don't buy. They aren't buying your knowledge. They're buying your energy and how you're making them feel. And that is all emotional. See, we think we're being logical when we purchase or when we try to present to somebody else in hopes that they want to work with us. So we think, I need to hit all these points. It needs to be about all that I know. But people, that's not what they're hearing. What they're feeling an entirely different thing. And so look at it this way. Here's a really great analogy that I like to use with my clients. That your job is, let's say there's a river, and on the other side of the river is where they want to be. So your job is to make sure they know that is possible for them, that river, to get to the other side, that it is possible with what your vehicle is, whatever it may be, and that you're the person to do it. They don't care how they get over there. They don't want to know about the boat and what color it is and what all the features are of this boat. They just want to know that you're the one that can get them across the river, that it is possible for them, and yours is the best vehicle to do so. And so just keeping that in mind, it's about the 0 to hero, not how you're going to get them there, but that they can get there with you. So when you're selling or when you're talking to potential clients, just keeping that in mind. They don't care. Another one-off when it comes to handling objections, I used to see this a lot in the field too. People just start piling on. Well, let me give you this fact, and let me give you this feature. And that's the exact opposite of what you need to do when you feel them starting to pull away, because they're on information overload. That's not what they're here for. So just keeping that in mind when you're having these sales conversations. The fourth one is the word no, and really understanding and sitting with that for yourself and the meaning that you're giving that no. A lot of times you'll see people struggling with their offer, right? They get to that point in the conversation. They've told them about their boat. They've told them about how they can get them to the other side and all the things that they can do. And then they get really sort of twisted up and asking for the business and making that offer. And generally, it's because of the word no. So really separating yourself. I know I've been talking a lot about emotion, but in this case, taking that piece away from it, because hearing the word no isn't necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people will say, and I tend to agree, that that's just the negotiation point. That's just when it really starts, is when you start to hear people objecting and you're starting to hear that no. You want to go deeper into what's behind that no. So that's one part of the no. But also, what are you making that mean to you when you hear no? Does your gremlin in your head start talking about, oh, I knew you couldn't do this. You're not good. Oh, you should drop the price. Oh, and so you wanting to separate yourself from that conversation also when you're getting to that point in the conversation to make the offer, because no is nothing personal. It doesn't mean you stink. It doesn't mean you should give up. It just may not be the right time. It's all about them. It's not about you. And then the last one, and this one's tough. You hear this and you're like, great, Jana, this makes a lot of sense, but how do I do that? And that is really practicing non-attachment. Non-attachment meaning we've all been with, whether it's a desperate person on a date or a desperate salesperson. There's so much pressure. They put so much pressure on themselves that's now spilling over onto you. Like, if I don't make this. And so you really have to approach every sales conversation grounded and just sinking into this whole, what will be, will be. I trust that if this is the right person and this is the right fit, then it will work. And if it's not, that's okay too. And just really practicing that non-attachment. And I find right before you have that conversation to take a minute, to breathe, to release the fear, release the pressure, and just walk in that trust and your center. Do the very best you can to explain all that you have to offer and let them make the decision. And that's okay. In fact, part of my training is even tell them it's okay. You can say yes or no, and letting them have that space to actually make that decision. Because when you have less of that high pressure sales sort of, they feel free. They feel like they can actually think about this. Their guard comes down. So really honing in on that right before any important presentation or discovery call or whatever sales situation and conversation you find yourself in. So those are my 5 things to really, hopefully you're taking notes, write those down, and just begin to walk in that power of your authentic way of selling through these 5 different practices. So,
or watch this a couple of times, over and over
there
again.
you go.
but wow, Jana, that was amazing. What you've done really is simplified it, and you put the human back into sales, because I think there's so many people who are absolutely terrified of selling. I don't want to sell, but we're all selling something, selling an idea, so, you know, selling a point of view. I don't know. We're doing it anyway, but to kind of do it in that respectful way with those amazing tips, absolutely fantastic. So I know all of you watching, you'll probably want to find out more about Jana, so all her links are going to be down below, as are mine as well, so check her out and you know, get in touch, ask her a question. So Jana, thank you so very much for sharing that stuff with us. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone else for watching.